Good Monday to you, everybody in Com 651. Welcome to week. Whoa, you ready for it? Boom, bam, 11. I almost said Tuesday because I'm making this video a little earlier than Tuesday, which is normally when I make these videos. It is clear that I am not sufficiently caffeinated. Much better. Welcome to the beginning of the week, everybody. Week 11. How are you doing? You're back, first week back from spring break. Get the cobwebs out of your head and get back into the swing of things as we move into the second and last half of the semester. Okay, for today, I do not have a review of your question for week 10, because you're not finished with them yet, because you have till the end of tonight to finish those. So instead, what I'm going to do is remind you, first and foremost, that your third PR presentation is due on April 7th. So you should be working on that this week. Okay. And this week, I will post your fourth PR presentation assignment. And as I hint at in assignment number 3, PR assignment number 4 is going to be you taking what is now the draft of your PR plan and turning it into the actual plan. So I'll post that. Let's see, where are we now? The 24th. I'll probably post that by Wednesday, the 26th, because I want to give you the whole month to work on that assignment. All right. It's going to involve a little more detail than, just the draft. And I want you to have adequate time to prepare. Okay. All right. So taking a look at the calendar, because we are now coming out of the month of March. This is our last week in the month of March. The class, excuse me, it's a weird schedule here. The last day of class is like the 28th. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the last day, the last week. I'm sorry, not the last day. I don't mean to give you a panic attack. The last week is the 28th, and the last day is Saturday, May the 3rd. Weird. So we have this block, this month of April, okay, for you to finish the class. Big chunk of time. Okay. So 2 things are going to happen between now and then. Number 1, I'll give you your 4th PR assignment. And again, I'll tell you what it is up front. This is you converting the draft that you're doing in number 3 to finally number 4. And I'll have that due in the last week of the class. And then the second thing that I want you to be doing, you need to be doing, make sure you are preparing for the final exam. It's 20% of your grade. Okay, so there are a lot of points out there. I spoke with some of you earlier this week, and earlier today, even because it's Monday. You said, I'm not where I want to be grade wise and point wise. I thought, with this PR assignment, number 3, and then number 4, and the final exam, there's still 50% of the points for the class yet remaining for you to get. All right, so there are a lot of points out there. Okay. So start preparing for the final exam. And again, to make sure that we're all on the same page, how do you prepare for the final exam? Go back and start studying the discussion questions. I will draw all of the questions of the final exam from the discussion questions. Okay. And they're going to be like, multiple choice, some short answer, some true false, this kind of thing. Okay. And, it'll be about 50 questions, something like that, 50, 60 questions. Okay. It's going to be a time test, right? Like tests are. All right. Important thing to note, though, I am not going to give you a review sheet for this test. The reason that I don't do that, and I'm not going to do that, is I've done that in the past, and what I find happens is that people study They study to the review sheet, but they don't study the material, which is the whole point. I don't want you studying to just, pull up what's on a review sheet. Okay. Study the stuff that we're covering. All right. So if you go through and you study that, then you'll do fine. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at what we're going to be doing this week. You'll continue your reading in stacks about qualitative research, and surprise, surprise, coming in April, we'll talk about quantitative research. All right. Chapter 10 in stock. This is it's a section on creating tactics for research and analysis. That is, how do you go about getting to the good stuff? Your challenge now in terms of where you've landed in the information age, it's different than it was 10 or 20 years ago, which is unique because the challenges for people in relationship to the information that was circulating around their society the challenges change, but much, much more slowly. Okay. It used to be 20 years ago. The challenge was learning and gaining access to the systems at which the information was stored. Right. Well, that was a fairly steep learning curve. Where's a research library? How do you use it? What credentials do you need just to get in the door? All right. Those barriers to access have all fallen away where information is concerned. So that's not your main challenge. Your main challenge is to develop a skill set that not tells you where the information is and how to get into it. Your challenge is to develop a skill set that lets you determine what's useful information and what's absolutely baloney, what's reliable information and what is not, because the barriers to get to the information have been blown away. You just, and then there's all kinds of information. But is it anything that you can use or you should use? All right. So you can read about that in the workbook by Scott, right? In your text by Stack, you're going to continue to read more about qualitative methodology, and I've already put the discussion questions up in the pinned section on the discussion board for week 11 for you. And I'm not implying you should be on it. All right, I'm just done it, and there it is. Okay, so that's this week. All right, coming next week and the week after. So the week of the 31st and the week of the 7th. As I've said before, I will be out of the office during that period. All right, from the 1st of April till really the 8th of April. I will be offline. All right, I'm going to be traveling in an area in which I need to be quiet about what I'm doing. Okay, so I stay offline. I may have some access to email during that time. So if and when I can, I'll check my email. All right, but I will not be logging into Canvas before and I take off for work for what I need to do this coming weekend. Before that time, before the end, so like the 29th to 30th. So by the end of this week, I will have posted here on Canvas your 4th PR assignment, because I want you to be able to get ahead of that, and questions for the week of the 31st and then the week of the 7th. Okay, so just go ahead, focus on your last 2 PR assignments. One will be due on the 7th and the other one will be due in the week of the 28th, probably something like the 30th. Okay, focus on your 2 PR assignments, study for your exam, and then continue the readings and answer the questions, and it'll all run smooth sailing. Okay, and again, I will be off Canvas, and you're not going to get a video for either of those 2 weeks, the week of the 31st or the week of the 7th. I'll be offline. All right. Okay, everybody. We're getting close to the end here. Okay, if you if you need to speak with me about feedback from PR presentation number 2, be sure to reach out to me this week. During my office hours on Wednesday or Friday, and we can talk, or you just have a quick question, shoot to me by email. It's going to be much harder for me to get to stuff during, especially that week, those 7 days of April 1st to April 8th. All right. Now, on the other side of April 8th, I'll have more bandwidth. I'll be able to get in and look at emails and take care of stuff. Okay. But during that 7-day period, I got to be quiet. Okay, everybody. Have a great week. All right. Continue to work on those PR presentations. If you have any questions, get them to me by Wednesday or Friday. And I'm thinking of you. I'm praying for you. And I will see you on Canvas. Bye-bye.